There is a cruel law in this world that few ever learn in time. You are either using the game or you are being used by it. The poor call it life, but the wise call it design. Every rule of this reality was written by those who wanted to remain on top while convincing you to be content at the bottom. You are told to work hard, to obey, to be grateful. But gratitude without strategy is submission. Machiavelli warned that the world belongs not to the pure, but to the prepared. He said a prince must learn how to be both lion and fox, strong enough to defend himself, cunning enough to never need to. And so, understand this. The modern battlefield is no longer fought with swords, but with systems. And the first weapon is not money, it is perception. The moment you open your eyes and see the hidden mechanics of power, you stop being a participant and start being a manipulator. Wealth is not paper, it is the discipline of mind. Power is not granted, it is seized through clarity. Poverty is not misfortune, it is blindness. You can labor 12 hours a day, you can wake up before dawn, and still die as a pawn, because you have been taught to believe that effort equals advancement. But the powerful know better. They know that movement without understanding is stillness in disguise. They know that the man who works without direction feeds the man who moves with precision. And that is where the first law begins. Rule 1. Wealth begins in the mind. The poor see money as survival, the rich see it as strategy. The poor think of how to earn, the rich think of how to multiply. The poor ask, what can I afford? The rich ask, what can I control? The difference is not morality, it is literacy, financial, psychological, and philosophical. Every fortune begins with a single mental rebellion, the refusal to see money as master. You must see money as your subordinate, a servant, a soldier. You do not chase it. You command it. You do not pray for it. You design systems that summon it. The mind is the throne, and until you rule there, you rule nowhere. Machiavelli wrote that those who depend on fortune will fall when fortune turns, but those who depend on virtue, discipline, foresight, cunning, can rebuild from ash. Wealth is not a number in a bank account. It is an identity carved into your psyche. To think rich is not to fantasize. It is to architect. Rule 2. Stop asking for permission. The weak seek approval before they act. The powerful act, and approval follows. In the kingdom of the ambitious, hesitation is heresy. Waiting to be chosen is the death of sovereignty. You have been conditioned to believe that success must be validated by someone higher, older, more established. But those you seek validation from were once nobodies who refused to ask. Machiavelli said that power is taken, not given. If you beg for opportunity, you will always receive scraps. If you move like one who owns his future, the world will adjust to your certainty. Confidence is the most aggressive form of currency. The poor live by reaction. The rich live by initiation. They do not ask, may I? They declare, I will. To those who wait, time becomes an enemy. To those who move, time becomes an accomplice. You are not waiting for your moment. Your moment is waiting for you to stop waiting. Permission is a leash disguised as humility. Rip it off. Act, even if the ground shakes. Because inaction is the only true failure, and every second you hesitate, someone colder, hungrier, less gifted, but more decisive, takes what could have been yours. Rule 3. Master sacrifice. Every throne demands blood. The poor avoid pain and call it peace. The rich embrace discomfort and call it investment. Every pleasure now is borrowed from your future. Every discipline now is payment toward your freedom. The difference between the masses and the elite is not intelligence, but tolerance for temporary suffering. Those who build empires understand that the present must be betrayed to protect the future. The poor spend money to look rich. The rich sacrifice appearance to become untouchable. They drive the old car, live below their means, wear silence as armor, while their empire expands unseen. Sacrifice is not punishment, it is purification. Each delayed gratification strengthens the will, and will is wealth. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must sometimes appear cruel for the sake of stability. The same is true for you. To cut distraction, to silence noise, to reject the company of those who weaken your edge, it will make you seem distant. Let it. Greatness has never been born from comfort. Comfort breeds decay. Every dollar spent without calculation, Every hour wasted without return is betrayal. The weak cannot see beyond the weak. The rich plan decades ahead. Learn to kill what pleases you now for what will protect you later. Rule 4. Build leverage, not labor. Hard work alone is not noble, it is neutral. A slave works hard. A ruler builds systems. The poor sell their time. The rich sell results. You can work 16 hours a day, but you will still be mortal, limited by exhaustion and time. The rich break that limit by multiplying their presence through people, technology, and capital. That is leverage. It is the invisible army that fights while you sleep. Machiavelli would call it fortification, the art of defending without being there. The masses are trained to think linearly. More effort equals more gain. The rich think exponentially. More strategy equals infinite gain. A man who learns to build leverage commands time. He divorces his income from his hours and gains the rarest asset in existence, freedom. You cannot climb out of poverty by labor. You must ascend through design. Machines, systems, content, investments, these are the soldiers of modern war. The poor trade time for survival. The rich trade decisions for empires. Remember this, every minute spent working for another man's dream is a brick in his fortress, not yours. Rule 5. Control perception. In the kingdom of power, image is infrastructure. The world does not respond to truth. It responds to appearance. Machiavelli warned that a ruler must learn not only to be strong, but to seem strong. Power flows to those who command belief, even before they possess results. You are what you appear to be, because perception dictates opportunity. The poor focus on being right. The rich focus on being recognized. If you wish to build influence, understand the psychology of attention. Present yourself as composed, competent, inevitable. Let your speech carry weight, your posture project control, your word remain rare. Reputation is wealth in disguise. It opens doors gold cannot. Guard it more fiercely than money, because once lost it costs more than fortune to rebuild. The weak waste it with gossip, lateness, impulsiveness. The strong polish it daily through silence and precision. In every interaction you are broadcasting who you are. Make sure your signal commands respect. To master perception is to weaponize illusion. To shape how others see you is to shape what they give you. Machiavelli said the masses are guided by what they see. Let them see exactly what you intend. Present yourself as a storm disguised in calm, as danger wrapped in elegance. Because in the end, perception is control, and control is wealth. And so when you internalize these 5 laws, something shifts. You stop seeing money as luck and start seeing it as leverage. You stop chasing applause and start cultivating fear, respect, and curiosity, the currencies of power. You begin to think like the architect of your own empire. Each rule is not theory, it's transformation. The first law rewires your thoughts. The second frees your will. The third hardens your discipline. The fourth expands your time. The fifth seals your reputation. Together they build the foundation of sovereignty. This is how the worker becomes the strategist. This is how the pawn becomes the player. The world will tell you that success is mysterious, that fortune chooses favorites. But Machiavelli exposed the truth centuries ago. The game has rules, and those who study them become kings. Those who ignore them become fuel. And this is only the beginning. Because while the first half of the code teaches you how to rise, the second half teaches you how to stay risen. How to protect what you've built from parasites, politics, betrayal, and your own decay. Power gained without defense is just an invitation for others to take it. In the next laws, the doctrine turns darker, sharper. You'll learn not just how to build the throne, but how to keep it surrounded by fire. Rule 6. Know the game is rigged. The poor think life is fair. The rich know fairness is a myth. Systems were never designed for your liberation. They were engineered to extract your labor and convert it into someone else's luxury. Machiavelli warned that power consolidates, and those in control rewrite morality to justify their dominance. Every rule, every law, every tradition serves the architects of hierarchy. The masses obey because they've been trained to confuse obedience with virtue. The rich don't fight the system. They study it, infiltrate it, and use it as scaffolding. They read contracts, tax codes, market patterns, not to complain but to capitalize. The moment you realize that the game isn't about justice but advantage, You stop seeking fairness and start seeking leverage. You learn that outrage is distraction. Every hour spent angry at the system is an hour not spent mastering it. The weak protest. The strong pivot. The rules are written in ink, but influence rewrites them. Governments bend for those who fund them. Markets shift for those who move billions. You do not beat the system by virtue. You beat it by vision. You use the loopholes they use. You adopt the tools they guard. You think like a ruler in a world that rewards servitude. Understand this. The game is fixed, but so is gravity, and yet pilots still fly. The world doesn't need to be fair for you to win. It only needs to be predictable. And it is. If you understand incentives, if you map patterns, you can forecast power. And once you forecast power, you can position yourself where it flows next. The game is rigged, yes, but it's also predictable. Study it, exploit it, build within it. Rule 7. Never depend on one stream. Dependence is death dressed as comfort. Machiavelli wrote that a prince who relies on mercenaries will lose. His state, for loyalty bought with pay, will vanish when the pay runs dry. The same is true for you. If one source feeds all your needs, you are a servant to that source. A single job, a single client, a single market. Each one is a noose waiting to tighten. The rich understand that security doesn't come from stability. It comes from diversity. One stream feeds survival. Multiple streams feed sovereignty. The poor say, I just want something safe. But safety is an illusion that collapses the moment the world sneezes. The powerful design redundancy. They build layers, cash flow, assets, royalties, digital leverage. Every dollar has a backup. Every risk has a countermeasure. Each pillar holds the next. They move like chess players guarding their king, knowing that the loss of one piece must never end the game. Dependence weakens the mind. It breeds fear. Independence strengthens the will. It breeds calm. To build true freedom, your money must earn while you sleep. Your ideas must multiply without your presence. Your name must echo in rooms you never enter. When you build multiple streams, you stop fearing loss.
And when you no longer fear loss, you become dangerous. Rule 8. Consumption is the enemy. The poor spend to feel alive. The rich delay to stay alive. Every purchase is either armor or poison. The masses are addicted to showing progress instead of owning it.
They wear wealth before they own wealth. They post before they profit. Machiavelli warned that appearances must serve power, not sabotage it. The modern world preaches consumption as therapy, but every dollar spent on vanity is a vote for slavery. The rich consume strategically. Every expense is a soldier, either fighting for them or against them. They buy assets that feed them, not liabilities that feed on them. The poor chase dopamine, the rich chase dividends. One seeks feeling, the other seeks compounding. Understand this distinction, and you will never be broke again. Every scroll, every impulse buy, every entertainment binge is a quiet tax you pay to those who understand your biology better than you do. The system wants you distracted, reactive, emotionally predictable. Because predictable minds are profitable markets. To escape, you must become boring to the world, but fascinating to your future. Simplicity is rebellion. Restraint is revolution. Consume less, create more. Own what earns, cut what drains. Because, in the economy of the future, ownership is oxygen and consumption is slow death. Rule 9. Discipline is destiny. Machiavelli said fortune favors the armed mind. You can possess knowledge, resources, connections, but without discipline they dissolve like smoke. Self-control is the gatekeeper of every empire. The poor surrender to emotion and call it expression. The rich master emotion and call it execution. Discipline is not suffering. It is structure. It is the architecture of freedom. Without it, you are owned by impulse. You wake up late, you scroll endlessly, you chase comfort, you trade future for fleeting pleasure. That is the behavior of the ruled, not the ruler. Discipline turns chaos into momentum. It is the invisible hand that converts intention into inheritance. Every successful person you admire is simply a servant to their structure. They wake at the same hour, execute regardless of mood, and bleed quietly while others broadcast their excuses. Discipline creates predictability, and predictability compounds. The broke live by emotion, the rich live by calendar. And here's the truth. Self-control is harder than strategy, but it's also rarer, and rarity is where power hides. Every time you say no to distraction, you gain a fraction of power that others will never reclaim. Machiavelli would call it virtue, the kind that turns ordinary men into rulers. The undisciplined chase opportunity, the disciplined create it. In the war for wealth, consistency beats intensity. Emotion fades. Systems endure. Rule 10. Power protects wealth. Without power, money is temporary. Machiavelli wrote that riches without defense invite invasion. In your world, the invaders are not armies. They are taxes, inflation, lawsuits, betrayal, envy, distraction. If you do not build shields, the world will strip you bare. Wealth demands walls, legal, digital, psychological. The strong hide their assets behind structures. The weak flaunt theirs in public and call it confidence. The rich create entities, trusts, multiple jurisdictions. They separate the man from the money so the man can survive any storm. Power also means control over narrative. Never let others define your story. Reputation is armor. Influence is a weapon. Use both. The final form of wealth is not accumulation. It is invulnerability. The ability to lose nothing of significance, even when attacked from every side. The poor think protection is paranoia. The rich know it is preservation. Build systems that outlive your emotions. Automate security. Diversify defenses. Keep your life invisible, your fortress unshakable. Remember, silence is the ultimate shield. Machiavelli said a wise ruler hides intention until the strike. So must you. Your empire must exist before anyone knows it does. Announce nothing. Secure everything. Because in this age of visibility, privacy is power. And when you live by these final 5 laws, the transformation completes. You stop chasing opportunity and start engineering inevitability. You no longer wake up asking what will happen. You wake up deciding what will happen. The world bends around your structure because structure is the gravity of power. The rules of the rich are not advice. They are architecture. Rule 6 gives you sight. Rule 7 grants you defense. Rule 8 purifies your mind. Rule 9 sharpens your blade. Rule 10 seals your fortress. Together, they form the code of financial sovereignty. You become untouchable, not because you are lucky, but because you are layered, protected, planned, prepared. Machiavelli would recognize you as the modern prince, not born into power but built into it, not gifted the throne but crafting it brick by brick, thought by thought, rule by rule. You understand now that wealth is not the end, it is the foundation of influence. And influence is the first step toward legacy. The world you once feared becomes a board on which you move pieces deliberately. The noise of others fades. Their doubts sound distant. Their laughter becomes irrelevant. Because they cannot comprehend structure. And structure is the language of kings. While they argue about fairness, you write new laws. While they beg for change, you design systems. While they hope for luck, you cultivate inevitability. This is how dynasties are born, not in chaos, but in calculation. You have learned the laws. You have applied the structure. You have accepted the burden, and now, as the final silence falls, you stand as something the world cannot categorize. You are no longer working for wealth. You are wealth. Living proof of Machiavelli's prophecy, that the world belongs not to the good, but to the disciplined, the daring, and the silent.